During Advent, our liturgies regularly feature readings from one of my favorite books in the Bible, the book of the prophet Isaiah. There's a good reason for that. Many passages in Isaiah convey a sense of anticipation and hope, the essence of the Advent season. Today's first reading is a perfect example. Isaiah uses poetic language to describe a prophetic vision of an idyllic land where peace and justice prevail. In the world reimagined by Isaiah, animals that are now antagonists will someday live in harmony. The lamb shall welcome the wolf. The calf shall befriend the lion. The cow and the bear shall be neighbors. Isaiah's animal imagery reminds us that God does not regard diversity as something to be feared or avoided. On the contrary, God delights in diversity. Our Creator made all kinds of different animals and all kinds of different people, each of us with our own unique genetic makeup, distinctive personalities, and special talents. God's unconditional love extends to all of creation, without exception, in all its glorious diversity. Unfortunately, as we know all too well, diversity can spawn division. These days, the United States seem anything but united. At a time when passionate arguments over political and social issues fracture families and strain long-standing friendships, it's hard to imagine that the peaceable kingdom envisioned by Isaiah will ever come to pass. As Christians, however, we are called not only to imagine a world at peace, but to work to achieve that world. But how can we promote peace in a society pervaded by animosity and anger? The first step is to resist the temptation to demonize those who hold views different from our own. Disagreements are inevitable and sometimes necessary. When we see injustice, we should not hesitate to speak out against it. At the same time, we should never lose sight the basic humanity of people who disagree with us. We acknowledge that humanity by taking the time to listen, really listen, to someone who sees things differently than we do. Respectful and thoughtful dialogue can help the participants better understand the basis for their different perspectives, even if it fails to change anyone's views. We should approach such dialogue with prayerful humility, recognizing that we don't have all the answers, and that people who don't share our beliefs are not monsters beyond redemption, but children of God who, just like us, are struggling to make sense of this complex world. Above all, we must keep in mind Christ's instruction to his disciples. Love your enemies. Jesus did more than speak those words, he lived them. He constantly engaged his opponents in dialogue, even sharing meals with them. And he never stopped loving them. Even as he hung on the cross with his dying breath, Jesus forgave those who crucified him. Loving our enemies may be the most difficult thing we are called to do as Christians. Yet such transcendent love is the cornerstone on which God's kingdom is built. In his first apostolic exhortation, De Lexi Te, Pope Leo declared, "The church that the world needs today is a church that sets no limits to love, that knows no enemies to fight, but only men and women to love." The Pope explained that Christian love is prophetic. It spans chasms that are humanly impossible to bridge, and makes what was apparently impossible happen. Let us pray that God will fill our hearts with this transformative love, a love that reconciles enemies, heals divisions, and brings to fruition Isaiah's seemingly impossible dream. A world where all of God's creation lives in peace.